Hey guys, welcome to Between the Bookshelves. I know I haven't posted in forever, so I'm posting today. But today we will be reading some of the Goodreads. Hello, Lucifer. Some of the Goodreads workers' book recommendations. So, this is the person I'm choosing for this video. However, I have already read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've also already read The Metamorphosis, but I'm going to read The Metamorphosis again. So instead of reading One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I will be reading Never Let Me Go, which is on this Goodreads workers' recommendations. Never Let Me Go is by Kazuo Ishiguro, and then obviously The Metamorphosis is by Franz Kafka. Hey guys, so it's the next day. Last night I finished part 1 of The Metamorphosis as well as like half of part 2. So here are my notes on part 1 of The Metamorphosis. This is the second time I've read this story, and I still think this. It feels like it's a commentary on capitalism because, like, they want him to go to work. The only thing he does is work. Everything he cares about is work. And then in the first part, I have so many notes because I highlighted this because I read it for a class of why can't the parents go to work? Because he's working to pay off his parents' debt, but why can't the parents go to work? In the second part, as far as I've gotten through the second part so far, it seems like the only reason the parents can't go to work, as well as the sister, is because they've gotten used to this semi luxurious lifestyle that they've been living because of Gregor. Except now, because Gregor is a bug, they now have to figure out how they're going to survive without Gregor working. And turns out his father has a secret stash of money that he's been hiding and he didn't tell Gregor about. So, don't really think the father deserves Father of the Year, especially after whacking his child when he turned into a cockroach back into a room and hurting him. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the story so far for the second read. And this is my dog, Trigger. He's playing with his bone right now, so sorry if you could hear that. Finished The Metamorphoses. Of course, there's other stories in here, but I didn't read them because I was focusing on The Metamorphoses. I have read a couple other stories in here, but I'm only going to give my feedback on The Metamorphosis. So, if I had to rate The Metamorphosis, I'd give it like a. I think I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars because I enjoy it. It's great. I don't really know why, but for some reason I can't give it 5 stars. Don't really know. Anyways, here are my final thoughts. So, one of the things that I think is interesting, the entire story is building up to this point where the family is tired of this life where they're kind of hiding in shame, but also they can't like support themselves in this house that Gregor used to be able to support with his job. And so the only fathomable way they can see themselves getting out of this place in their lives is to get rid of Gregor. But none of them want to get rid of Gregor, or more so, they don't know a way to do it that will not make themselves feel bad. And eventually, Gregor does die, and it is technically, like, probably from the infection on his back from the food that the father threw at his back that got stuck and infected. So, like I said before, the dad is not the greatest father figure in the world. And another thing that I think the Metamorphosis shows, especially towards the end, and how they don't even really think about Gregor after he's dead and after there's a specific name that they call her, but like the maid essentially finds him and discards of him, for lack of a better word. And instead, it shows like once you take the humanity away, once you dehumanize a thing, especially in this case, once Gregor is dehumanized and only seen as the bug, they don't feel anything for him after he's gone, after he's dead, because they already thought of their son as dead, or maybe they thought of their son as this creature rather than him. And it also, like, in Gregor's mind, he's like, at the end, it seems he's ready to go. He's ready to not be this thing anymore because he sees himself as this creature rather than once being human and having these human emotions. But because everybody else sees him as this bug, he sees himself as the bug. So yeah, those are my final thoughts. Um, I definitely recommend the Metamorphoses for like everyone and anybody. So yeah, I'll come back when I finish Never Let Me Go. Hey guys, so it's like 10 something at night right now, but I haven't kept up on clips for a little bit. Anyways, um, I finished The Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka, and I'll give my review on that. I'll film it tomorrow. It will be before this clip. But I started reading Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Anyways, honestly, still don't really know what's happening, and I'm like 70 something pages, 74 pages in right now. Don't really know what's happening. Like, I like the way it's being told though. It's first perspective and it's like a string of consciousness rather than like plotted out meticulously. So I like that part. But I'm confused like what the donations are and that kind of stuff. The donations kind of remind me of, I believe it's called Unwind, where these people are raised specifically just to give organs to other people. If it is that book, I'll put it here. If it's not, I'll find the actual book and put it here. Anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts right now. I'll tell you how I feel when I'm halfway through it. Hey guys, so I have read halfway through, well, a little more than halfway, I guess, but halfway through Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. So I'm gonna give you some thoughts that I have. So one of my thoughts is I like the way that it's narrated because you find things out as you're reading and you want to keep reading because you want the answers to the questions that come up through the work. It's like the same thing with Clara and the Sun, which is also by the same author. And if I didn't know this was by Kazuo Ishiguro, by the time I got halfway through, I probably would have guessed it was him after reading Clara and the Sun, which is actually the only other novel I've read by him. But I loved Clara and the Sun. So far this is going pretty well for me. But it's really weird, a lot of the stuff that's happening in this. So I was reading, and one of the spots where I went like, "Oh my god," was apparently their DNA or whatever, they're like based off of these other people that already exist, and their DNA is taken, and somehow the students from Helsham, I don't know how to pronounce the school, so if you do, comment below. Um, but apparently the people in the school are made somehow from that DNA, which is wild, but like also cool, but also kind of crazy. I'm still not 100% sure what the donations are, but like I said, I am only halfway through, so I guess I'll find out. My cat is sneezing right now, if you hear that. Yeah, so far, pretty good. I'll come back when I'm fully through it. Also, I don't think I'm going to read the third novel that I said I was going to read because I want to post this video and I have a whole bunch of busy stuff going on soon, so I'm not going to be able to read it. So, yeah, I'm just going to read Never Let Me Go and The Metamorphoses for this video. Hey guys, so it's been quite a while since I've recorded because I've just had a busy, hectic schedule. I go back to college in not even a week, in less than a week. But I did want to finish this book before I went back to school, so this video will just be the 2 books that I've already read. Originally I was going to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ben Casey, but I don't have time. So yeah, it'll just be these 2 books. So right now I will be giving you my review for Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Overall, I would say I rate it 4 stars, I think. That's what I rate it in the app I use anyway. But so I really enjoyed it, and I really like the way Kazuo Ishiguro writes about humanity and what it means to be human from this perspective of either non-human entities or like Clara in the Sun, she's a robot. But in this one it's donors, people who are cloned and raised just to be donors. So it never 100% gets explained what the donors are. I mean, obviously they're donating parts from their bodies, but it seems like there's 4 stages of being a donor. The first stage, almost everybody gets through. The second stage, some people complete. They always call it completing, not death, which I find really interesting. The third stage seems to be okay, but then the 4th stage, it seems that when they complete, they're still partially alive and can see what is happening to their bodies, it kind of sounded like to me. And then another part of the story, which a lot of these things that I'm bringing up aren't really essential to the story, like it's still a good story without these things being explained. Just me being an overthinker, I was constantly wondering about these things. I was also wondering how they actually like form the donors, because they're like DNA taken from other people and then somehow born but not really born. Don't really know. One part that I did find really interesting and I really did enjoy was how the donor thing all came about. So basically, in case you haven't read the book, spoiler alert. This entire thing's a spoiler alert. Anyway, so basically, the donors were started because it was a cure to cancer, essentially. But there's like a part in the book where it's like, we can't go back from before we had donors, because then they would be taking the cure from cancer away, and they already have the cure, so why would you take the cure away? But at the same time, it raises these questions of, is this actually ethic? Like, should you actually be doing this? Should you be sacrificing one human life for other human lives? Like, I don't know. If you want to think, read this. I'm sure I probably have other things to say, but I can't think of them right now, because I literally just finished this like 30 minutes ago. But yeah, definitely recommend, and really happy that I read this book, even if it also made me sad.